Hey everyone, welcome to today's demo. Today we're going to be talking about Shareplans. The goal with Shareplans is to introduce you to a concept where instead of just giving a very simple amount of usage that your consumer can use, let's look at ways that you can offer flexible, tierable usage that grows as you sell more and more licenses or have more and more devices or users on that account. Let's look at all the different ways you can combine all the different types of usage into this pool. Let's look at how you can turn things like the unused portion of that and roll it forward. Let's look at ways that you can limit a user's ability to actually consume too much and have some fair value in there. And let's look at also ways that we can communicate with your customer as they're using this usage to let them know that they're on track, they're spending too much, they're using too much usage for the given period of time, and all the different ways that you can offer this and extend it. So we're going to jump into the demo next. Hey everyone, welcome to the demo portion of today's video. Today we're going to walk you through how you set up Shareplans, some of the features and benefits of them, and how you actually can configure those, what they look like, and we'll dive through into a little bit more of the technical details of the application. So, as you can see on my screen right now, I'm showing you our setup and configuration for a Shareplan. Shareplans come in two different flavors. So we talked about the idea of a fixed Shareplan or a variable Shareplan. And you'll see in my screen here I have a few that are defined as fixed, like this corporate allowance, and we have some that like a variable. So what's the difference between these? So a fixed Shareplan is simply an allotment of usage, or an allotment of usage spend and money in this case, that you can consume across the entire account structure, whether that's multiple users, multiple software licenses, multiple devices. It doesn't matter how you're consuming that, but it's one block of, say, 1 million API messages, or $10,000 that can be used across any of your services. The variable, however, is a completely different scenario. The idea of a variable Shareplan is that you can actually take each license, each device, each user, each piece of software, whatever you are selling that has a usage component, and start to accumulate a small amount of usage into a pool that goes across the entire account. And we'll talk about the different ways it can be spent across the account. So in this example here, in this variable, I actually have a couple different services or offerings that I'm including. So anytime I sell my notification events or my integration events services, I'm going to add either 50 events or 100 events into the Shareplan pool on that account. Very simple, straightforward. But sometimes you want to add some additional configuration in here and some additional rules. So we have included something that we call a participation limit. This gives us the ability to have some fair usage rules that sit on top of this. So if I contribute a bunch of 50s into the pool and I get up to 5,000, I don't necessarily have to have like maybe one greedy device or user use the entire pool and the rest of the users feel like they're having to pay for that. So I can create a rule that's called a participation limit that says after that individual has consumed that limit, we're going to stop them from participating in the pool. So they're no longer being a fair usage person, we'll pull them out. And that works for any device or anything, and it's particularly important in, say, the IoT space when you have runaway devices that you're going to be charged for. In the addition to the variable side and these fixed amounts, you can also create tiering rules as well, so that as you have more and more usage elements added into the Shareplan, we can tier different values and offer you that. On the second note is some of the general principles of what a Shareplan does. And so we did talk a little bit early on about the idea of a Shareplan either being usage-based, like this example is, or being money-based, like my corporate allowance is. And so you have the ability to work in units of some kind of measure or in money. With the elements outside of this Shareplan and the usage, we also allow you to indicate where you want to actually accumulate this pool. So within an account hierarchy that I'll show you in a second, you can have this roll up to whoever in the hierarchy is receiving the invoice, or to specific levels within the hierarchy. So if you do want to get granular in Office, maybe for a customer at one specific site, offer them a pool just for that site, and then maybe somewhere else offer that rolled up across the entire enterprise. You can pick and choose how you want those to work. And then again, pick whether or not this is a fixed one-time element that expires after a period of time, whether or not it's recurring, and we can even get into elements like rollover support as well. And lastly, give yourself the ability to define what type of actual elements are in this bucket or in this pool that you can. So you can pick from one of the base buckets that you've already configured, and we'll probably have another video describing buckets in more detail. And then lastly, define some of those transparency rules. Let the customers know when they're consuming this bucket or share plan and when they're hitting certain thresholds. It can not only tell your customer what to do, but we can also enable it to tell people in your organization, like the account managers or systems, that they've reached this limit, to be able to maybe decrease their ability to use the API by throttling, turning off certain services within your application. The sky's the limit. So we can work with either email notifications or webhooks. So let's take a look at what a customer looks like and what that experience looks like from, say, maybe a CSR, and how the customer interacts. So on this account here, you'll see I have a hierarchy. There's the parent up here and then one office below. I can have the office have its own pool, or in the case that I've set up here, it's all being shared all the way up to the top. And it doesn't matter how many child accounts or structures I have in here, the roll-up will always work to the level that you define. I can sell a number of different services, and in all of these services, they all have a component that was in that participating or contributing rules. So in this case here, my notifications, we saw that they set up 50 events every time that they're being used. This usage events licensing, it actually has a component that has some integration and notifications. So I'm going to get another 50 plus another 100. And then I have the Shareplan, which kicks it all off, and I have one below. But if we go into this little Shareplan icon at the top here, we get to see the overall picture of how much is in the pool and how much has been used and who's using it, and give you a few other options. So in this case here, you can see I've added 5 different notification events. So 5 times 50 is our 250, and 1 integration, which is at 100. That's going to get me to my 350 total event occurrences in the system. Now, if I start throwing usage into the system and it starts using it like a normal customer would, I would see in real time these values decrease to the point where I would know exactly where I am at any point in time in my Shareplan, and the thresholds would kick in and send notifications out as we want. And if any time down that cycle someone says, I need more, whether it's an amount that you want to add once as a non-recurring top-up just for that period, or you want to go ahead and add this for an overall recurring element that happens every month because they're going to be using more, go ahead and hit an add-on at any point in time and add it into the Shareplan or sell more licenses. That will work with either the variable component or the fixed component. So that gives you a brief look into Shareplans and what we offer and some of the flexibility that allows you to offer different ways to sell usage-based services. Thank you.